This woman was in prison for 50 years, okay? The nerve of him to ask her, the last known person to be seen with his son, did you kill my son? The pretenses behind her attempting to clean any part of this crime scene. She had been accused of killing her husband by way of poisoning him.
Yeah, after that I get out, I walk home.
That confession was a joke. I mean, he could have said anything. He could have said anything, and there would have been no proof. Every time we see something like this, where it's like, there's no care or like regard, why would you cover for this man and allow him to leave the scene of the crime and act like he was never there?
In Atlanta, a vigil late today for the young woman killed as she was jogging on the campus of the University of Georgia. As we learn more about the suspect in the case, Marissa Parra is there with late details.
Thank you all so much for being here today.
Emotions on high tonight as students at the University of Georgia remember 22-year-old Laken Riley.
Laken showed devotion throughout every avenue of her life.
Murdered on campus last Thursday while she was out running. Tributes pouring in. One friend writing, "You exuded kindness and acceptance to anyone you met." The suspect charged, 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra. Police say they didn't know each other.
I think this was a crime of opportunity.
Immigration officials say Ibarra, a Venezuelan citizen, was previously arrested when he illegally entered the U.S. in 2022. A year later, he was arrested in New York City for endangering a child under 17. He was released both times.
Laken's death is a direct result of failed policies on the federal level and an unwillingness by this White House to secure the southern border.
Riley's death igniting a political firestorm. State House Speaker John Burns indicating that the Georgia House this week will take steps on illegal immigration and look at, quote, ways to strengthen the security of our state. Outrage growing on social media over Riley's murder from female runners across the country.
I shouldn't have to worry about getting killed on my run.
And women on UGA campus afraid to walk alone, some carrying pepper spray for the first time.
I always have my pocket knife in my backpack.
Did you have your pocket knife in your backpack this time last week?
No.
From anxiety to anguish, emotions on full display.
Campus is really heavy right now. We're all heartbroken.
A community grieving the loss of a life and their sense of safety. Marissa Parra, NBC News, Athens, Georgia.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Kelly, and we're back with another video. If you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe if you're into true crime stories, news, politics, and so much more. And if you're a returning listener or subscriber, thank you guys so much for being a friend. I really appreciate y'all, and I thank everyone in advance for watching this video. So I wanted to come on here today, guys, and get into this most recent story of Laken Riley and the tragedy that has ensued from this, and just highlight some of the other young ladies and people who have also met a similar fate and their families met with a similar tragedy at the hands of, you know, what everyone is seemingly calling politically motivated outrage. But I would just beg to differ. I would say it's just plain old-fashioned outrage, and people are just sick of this. People are sick of seeing their loved ones being taken from them at the hands of people who should not even be here and who don't belong here. And they don't belong here because they don't share in our values. They don't have any regard for the human lives that they take. They don't have any regard for anyone's life, for that matter, their own included. Or else they wouldn't commit these heinous attacks that they are so blatantly doing out in broad daylight on our very streets to our innocent young people and people all over this country, really. I mean, really, age is not really a factor. It could happen to anybody. So we're going to talk about Laken Riley, and we're going to go over some of the details from her tragic murder and how her life was stolen from her by this absolute disgrace of an illegal alien. And then I just wanted to come and highlight some of the other cases that might not have received the same amount of attention as Laken's has, but I think it deserves to be revisited at this time, because for me, this is not political. Obviously, the border and immigration is a political issue, but the tragedies that are befalling onto American citizens and young women like Laken Riley is not political. It shouldn't even be a factor, okay? There are crazy people and lunatics all over the world. We have some that are from America, that are American, right here in our very own country, that we need to deal with, okay? So it shouldn't be our burden to deal with the psychopaths and the killers and the violent thugs from all over the world who are pouring into our country via the southern border, for them to come here illegally break our laws, spit in our faces, use up our resources, and then kill our young women. It's an absolute outrage and a disgrace to our country. So, let's get into this story, guys. And I want to know your thoughts about it in the comments below. Okay, so just this past Thursday is when the world and this country would receive the news that Laken Riley had been missing. And this was alerted due to a friend of hers who had been aware that Laken had gone on a morning run, just as she had done for, many other mornings. And she was a nursing student at a university in Georgia. I believe she was at the University of Georgia campus, but I believe she went to a different university. Nevertheless, she was a nursing student, 22-year-old young woman going out for a morning jog and had not returned. So a friend of Laken's alerted the police to her concern over this unusual behavior from Laken. And so on the 22nd of February of 2024, the police went out to the known area where Laken had been jogging, and it didn't take long for them to find her body out in the area along those trails where she was jogging, and she had been horribly beaten and murdered and left there out in the open in broad daylight by an illegal alien. So this article is from WSB TV. Arrest warrants and affidavits obtained by Channel 2 Action News reveal new details on what prosecutors say led up to the death of 22-year-old nursing student on the University of Georgia campus. Laken Hope Riley went for a run Thursday morning near the UGA intramural fields and never returned. Police later found her body. On Friday, police announced the arrest of Jose Antonio Ibarra and charged him with malice murder, felony murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, kidnapping, hindering a 911 call, and concealing the death of another. The documents obtained by Channel 2 Action News on Tuesday accused Ibarra of kidnapping Riley between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. and disfiguring her skull with an object. The documents did not specify what kind of object. The Athens-Clarke County Coroner's Office confirmed that Riley died from blunt force trauma to the head. Ibarra is also accused of physically preventing Riley from making or completing a 911 call. The documents allege that Ibarra dragged Riley from the intramural fields to a secluded area and concealed her death. Officials confirmed on Sunday that Ibarra entered the United States illegally. Immigration and Customs Enforcement issued the following statement on Sunday. U.S. Customs and Border Protection arrested Ibarra September 8, 2022, after he unlawfully entered the United States near El Paso, Texas. He was paroled and released for further processing. Court documents reveal that Ibarra was arrested in New York after driving an uninsured, unregistered car but was released per New York's no cash bail policy. And then records show he and his brother Diego Ibarra were then arrested in Georgia for stealing nearly $200 worth of goods from an Athens Walmart. And he had documents out for his arrest when he allegedly murdered Riley. So he is a 26-year-old Venezuelan citizen who should not have been here and had been arrested several times since crossing and breaking our laws one time in 2022, crossing into this country illegally. He had been arrested twice since then and then went on to commit this murder. God only knows what else he has done and gotten away with. So Laken Riley was a nursing student at Augusta University's Athens campus. After starting her college career at the much larger Athens campus of the University of Georgia. So, of course, now politicians are talking about all these policy changes they want to make, and, everyone's grandstanding and just, wringing their hands and just very seemingly upset about all of this. And I'm sure they are, because it's painful and it hurts us to see someone like this lose their life to such a low-life piece of garbage, literal, actual human filth. So yes, it does hurt. It's painful, but I find it hard to believe them. I find it hard to really show any sort of faith in anything getting done. I've seen this problem get exponentially worse ever since the administration changed over from Trump's to Biden's. and policies that have been purposely put in place to open the border and to allow these people to flood into our countries. This is by design. And the way that Trump's policies were so effective, his heart was in the right place when it came to the policies that he wanted to put in place to tamp down on immigration and to secure our border and to protect Americans. And the way that he was kneecapped and blocked and utterly sabotaged every step of the way during his presidency by Republicans, no less. Okay, we could have had the border wall by now, and they were completely and utterly against him every step of the way in passing the funding needed. I mean, all of the billions of dollars we have sent to Ukraine, it makes me sick now to know that we could have had 10 border walls with all of that money. We could have had 100. Okay, all they were asking was, I think, 4 or 5 billion for the border wall. And now we have this young lady brutally murdered by some disgusting Venezuelan illegal alien who is filth, okay? Take her life. It's completely heartbreaking and just absolutely out of control. So he's had a warrant for missing court from his shoplifting arrest in Athens, Georgia. That's been issued since December 20th. Okay? 2 damn months. See, this is the type of shit that, like, we need to be actively pursuing. I don't understand how we can't get a system in place where if a warrant is put out for an illegal alien, we need to have, like, bounty hunters come out and, like, literally find these people and detain them and immediately deport them. I mean, I don't understand how we're missing these things. And it's literally life or death. It's literally causing people to die. And more people will die because people have already died. People have been dying. This story has just received a ton of media coverage because, I guess, of the timing and I don't know what makes people pay more attention to one story than the other. I'm not going to sit here and speculate about that. But either way, it's absolutely disgusting. And what you're seeing here is this absolute murderer being arrested by the police, and they detained him just near where he had killed Laken Riley. And his brother was also arrested, I believe, for other crimes, one of which was possessing a fraudulent green card. So, 2 really just pieces of shit individuals who really don't deserve any part of their life. And from what I understand, they were able to pinpoint him as a suspect due to surveillance footage from the campus there, from the intramural fields, and it was pretty obvious what had happened. There were also reports of neighbors of his reporting that he had thrown away bloody clothing, and so they were able to track him down and pinpoint him as a suspect pretty quickly. And I'm thinking, and I think it's pretty definitive at this point that he is in fact the one responsible. And there's really not a question. And even if he somehow were not the one responsible, let's deport him anyways, because I don't give a fuck. He's been arrested 3 times. This is, this, in my opinion, 3 strikes you're out, motherfucker. But, like, yeah, it's him. They're pretty sure, more details will be released. But as of right now, it's looking pretty clear that they have some pretty solid evidence that he is the one responsible, and thankfully he's now in custody. So this article is from the Washington Examiner for all of the people who were so ignorantly on Twitter and other places claiming that, this recent border bill, which was a joke, and I've covered on my channel before, it was an absolute disgrace, more bullshit that the politicians of Washington try to use to appease people, trick people, because they know that most of the American populace are ignorant and retarded and just listen to what CNN or MSNBC tells them, or even Fox News. And the border bill, quote unquote, heavy on that, would have done absolutely nothing. Okay, so this article goes on to say, The Langford bill would have done nothing to prevent Riley's murder. Jose Ibarro was charged with illegally crossing the southern border near El Paso, Texas on September 8, 2022. He was arrested with his wife and his wife's young child. Ibarro was then released into the United States pursuant to Biden's parole authority. So, supporters of the bill will tell you the legislation ends parole for immigrants arrested between ports of entry. However, existing law already bars the parole of immigrants arrested at the border. Biden got around this bar by using an urgent humanitarian exception, which is complete and utter word salad bullshit. Humanitarian, my ass. The border is a humanitarian crisis. It's an absolute joke. So, specifically, he used this section of the Immigration Nationality Act that says the security of the Department of Homeland Security may issue parole to an immigrant only on a case-by-case basis for urgent humanitarian reasons, which is not what they've been doing. They've been broadly and just widely issuing parole status to everyone and anyone who crosses over to the border, with the exception of maybe a few that they're able to detect and catch as being violent criminals, okay? But all the rest of them are getting through no problem with this parole status and let into the interior of the country to go and commit murders. And let's look at some of the other ones. Less widely reported, but still important to remember. Lisbeth Medina, stabbed to death by illegal immigrant with expired visa. This is published December 11th, 2023. Texas high school cheerleader Lisbeth Medina was stabbed to death and left in her bathtub by an undocumented illegal immigrant living in the U.S. on an expired visa, police said. Rafael Govia Romero, 23, was charged Saturday on a capital murder charge in the killing of 16-year-old Edna High School student last week. And here's a beautiful young lady who had her life stolen by a psychopath who had no business being here. My God. I mean, I cannot even imagine. Her mother was quoted as saying, "My daughter was found in a way that no mother should ever find their child. Someone hurt my child. Someone took my child from me." This is disgusting. And God only knows what he did to her body. And here is her and her mother. Just tragic. Illegal immigrant killed 3 after sanctuary release from custody, ICE says. An illegal immigrant accused of a triple murder in Missouri was previously jailed and released in New Jersey on domestic violence charges, putting the spotlight on the conflict between local and immigration authorities nationwide. This was from November 11th, 2018. Luis Rodrigo Perez, a native of Mexico, is charged with fatally shooting 2 men and wounding 2 others on November 1st and fatally shooting a woman the next day. He was being held on domestic violence charges at Middlesex County Jail in New Jersey in December 2017 and was released in February. And ICE officials said that they had placed a detainer on Perez while he was in custody, but the request was not honored, nor was the agency notified when he was let go. And see, this is what I don't understand. When were they notified is what I would like to know, because if he was in jail in December and released in February, were they only notified like in late February? I mean, it should be an immediate trigger to action. And I don't know. I don't want to speculate because maybe ICE wasn't alerted until the very last minute. And like they said, they were not alerted whenever he was let go. But it's just absolutely insane to me that there's all this finger pointing when there should just be only action. So, and here were 2 more participants of this horrific crime. This idiot right here and this disgusting woman were both charged in relation to these triple homicide charges. Perez is accused of killing 21-year-old Sabrina Starr at her home and then also killing their ex-roommates Stephen Marler, 38, and Aaron Hampton, 23, after they were kicked out of their Springfield home. Kayla Hamilton, a 20-year-old woman killed by an illegal immigrant, plans to sue the Biden administration for $100 million, partially blaming the administration's immigration enforcement policies for her wrongful death. The illegal immigrant raped Hamilton and subsequently strangled her with a phone cord. Prior to the murder, he entered the U.S. unlawfully in March 2022, but secured release to the interior under the Biden administration's directives. And I hope they win every penny. The killer had been arrested in El Salvador in 2020 for being associated with an illicit gang. All DHS had to do was make one phone call to verify this, and Kayla would be alive. The killer reportedly had an MS-13 tattoo, and authorities later confirmed his association with the illicit group. He was 16 at the time he crossed the border and told authorities he had paid a guide to smuggle him across so as to escape gang violence in El Salvador. All the while, he was the gang violence. Despicable. And let's see what this young lady looked like. Oh, and she was autistic? Is that right? So here's the young lady right here. 17-year-old boy. A boy, they call him. He wasn't a boy whenever he was raping, robbing, and murdering. I would argue. No, thank you. So that is Kayla Hamilton. So just some statistics. These are older, but just to give you a feel for it, because if these were alarming then they should terrify you now. Illegal immigrants committed just about 1,200 assault and domestic violence crimes in 2021, which represents a more than 400% increase from 208 in 2020. 60 homicide or manslaughter convictions were attributed to illegal immigrants in 2021, a 1,900% increase from the previous year. Driving under the influence convictions rose 347%. And illegal possession or trafficking of drugs rose 453%. So take a look at these two beauties right here. 2 illegal immigrants were charged this week after allegedly plotting a mass shooting at a 4th of July event in Richmond, Virginia. One of the suspects in the alleged plot had previously been deported, according to reports. So, real winners right here. 52-year-old Julio Alvarado, whatever the fuck, and 38-year-old Roman Balakalala. Anyways, we don't care about their names. But not a peep from the mainstream media. This is the first time hearing about it. It's from this article right here. So this from March 4th, 2022, illegal immigrants slapped with 4 life sentences for brutal murders. A Salvadorian serial killer who was in the U.S. illegally was slapped with consecutive life sentences after he admitted to 4 Nevada murders. Ernesto Martinez Guzman, 23. And so these people are what? Are supposed to be in our jails, mooching off of our tax dollars, being able to live a better life than they would have lived in their shithole countries for what, the rest of their lives, the next 60 years of this loser's life? I mean, death penalty. Why are we making deals with these people? Death penalty. So, in a deal to avoid facing the death penalty, Ernesto over here, who worked as a landscaper for all 4 victims before he shot them during a deadly robbery spree in January 2019. But prosecutors said his crimes weren't motivated by a need for money. He copped a plea tying himself to the murders. The killer was feeding his own sinister desires and made only $179 from the stolen items he pawned. Ridiculous. 4 lives for $179. The case is about him getting a thrill out of committing burglaries and killing. So why make him a deal? Why? I'm disgusted. This is absolutely reprehensible. Look at this fucking loser. So, Guzman shot Jerry David, 81, and his wife using a .22 caliber gun he had stolen from David's barn days earlier, and then pawned a ring and other items from the couple who were well known in the local rodeo community. It was the David's daughter and granddaughter who were Trump's guests at his speech. So, Guzman also killed Constance Kuntz, 56, and Sophia Rinken, 74, in Douglas County. Just disgusting individual. I mean, this man should be executed. There's no excuse why he's not. So, this is a little bit older, May 26, 2021. Molly Tibbetts murder suspect takes a stand and blames mystery men for slaying. And when I was first looking for an article to reference this story, I was disgusted at the articles that referred to this man as an Iowa farmer or a local Iowa man, local farmer. No, he was an illegal from Mexico. Christian Bahina Rivera was his name, and he had no business being here. He wasn't an Ohio man. He wasn't a local farmer, and I'm disgusted with the media that continues to do this. So in 2018, he abducted and stabbed Molly Tibbetts to death, and then tried to lie and say that 2 masked men were responsible for the crime and forced him to take part in it at gunpoint. He's an absolutely ridiculous liar and a deserving of the death penalty more so than anyone else I can think of. And here is Molly Tibbetts, who was reported missing from her hometown in eastern Iowa on July 19th, 2018. And this is a little bit more well-known case. This was Katie Steinle. She was a 32-year-old woman who was shot in 2015 by 46-year-old Jose Inez Garcia, whoever, in California. He had apparently found a gun that was wrapped in a towel, and it shot by itself. It fired accidentally. And so he threw it in the water so that it would stop firing. Bullshit. California needs to be wiped off the map. I'm so sorry, but it just really does. This from the San Francisco, Police Officers Association. In yet another episode of San Francisco judges caring more for criminals than crime victims, the First District Court of Appeals in San Francisco overturned the conviction of that illegal alien for being a felon in possession of a firearm that he used to shoot and kill Kate Steinle. So the murder conviction was not overturned, but the felon in possession of a firearm charge was overturned. As if that makes any fucking difference whatsoever. For what reason they felt they needed to waste taxpayer dollars to go through those criminal proceedings is absolutely beyond me. But we continue. A firearm that he used to shoot and kill Kate Steinle. This is yet another disgusting injustice perpetuated by a broken criminal justice system that is more intent on reharming the victims of crime and their families than holding violent offenders accountable. Luckily, that illegal is in custody awaiting trial on federal charges and won't be released back into society with an ankle bracelet like Austin Vincent after violently assaulting a woman just trying to get into her home. It seems our justice system is intent at exploiting any loophole, no matter how minute, to coddle criminals and re-victimize crime victims in our communities. Well said. So in the last 72 hours, U.S. Border Patrol agents throughout the southwest border have apprehended 11 individuals with violent criminal histories. Their criminal histories include child molestation, aggravated assault, rape, murder, and manufacture and trafficking of firearms. So I want you to look at these guys' faces, okay? And I want you to just be aware that these are the people coming into the country, okay? So coming to a city near you to be in close proximity to you and your family, okay, to be within feet of your precious children are these disgusting, sick, third world molesters, okay? I just can't even comprehend what is going on in this country. So, and again, the NGOs, huge problem. Covenant House, okay? Go and harass them on Twitter if you'd like. I will be doing the same. So, absolutely ridiculous. These NGOs need to be defunded and convicted of human trafficking. The killer of Laken Riley, Jose Ibarra, listed the Covenant House as his release address per CPB records. And I just want to show you guys this video here that was posted by friends of Laken Riley just to honor her. And this is just a tribute. It was shared on Instagram by one of her close friends.
So are you smiling at your phone because you had that plan? I just knew I wasn't going to be able to hide my face if I looked up at you. I knew you.
place I go to when no one knows. It's not lonely, it's a necessary thing. It's a place I made up. Find out what I made up. The nights I'll stay.
Me, my kid.
Stars and fighting sleep. Let it wash over me. I'm ready to lose my feet. Take me off to the place where one means life's mystery. Steady on down the line. Lose every sense of time. Take it all in and wake up that small part of me. Day to day I'm blind to see and find how far to go. Everybody got their reason, everybody got their way. We're just catching and releasing what builds up throughout the day. It gets into your body, it flows right through your blood. We can tell each other secrets and remember how to love.
Hey kids, this is your mom and her college roommate that she talks about all the time. Auntie Laken, TT Laken. TT Laken. This is gonna be I mean she.
We're wearing matching tops.
Marcy team.
Oh my gosh, wait, white, blue.
Marcy team.
Okay.
So absolutely devastating. This woman deserves justice. Her family deserves justice. Her life meant more to so many more people than the criminal parasite that took her life away from her and away from her family so senselessly. For what? For absolutely nothing. I mean, it's just reckless and just disgusting to me. So it never ceases to amaze me how these young women can be taken. This woman was studying to be a nurse. She wanted to help people, and instead her life was cut short by an absolute monster. This sick motherfucker right here. Hey guys, so I'm editing this video and I just wanted to bring you guys one last thing because I felt this was extremely important to cover, and it came up after I'd already recorded the video. So I wanted to provide this as a insert here so that way you guys can get the full scope of things. And this is the most disgraceful thing you'll probably see all damn day in regards to Laken Riley's murder. This is the mayor of Athens, Georgia, the town that she was living in at the time, which was declared a sanctuary city by this numbnuts Democrat. So let's see what he had to say in regards to her murder and who he does want us to place the blame on and who he doesn't want us to place the blame on.
Humanity is the expectation of human dignity. While 2019 was not that long ago, you might remember the dynamic we were living in the late teens in this country, where you had the President of the United States speaking in the most vile terms.
Very nice words, but happens to be wrong.
About people who were foreign born. And you had that notion metastasizing in places like Charlottesville.
This is an invasion! When I was younger, I was a criminal. And you know what I thought about doing? Crossing the border to Mexico to get away from my crimes.
Son, I'm going to ask you to leave.
Jesus Christ,
I'm going to ask you to go fuck yourself.
And I no longer live that lawless life, which you do.
Son, I'm going to ask you to leave.
You are lawless, Mr. Mayor.
I'd be glad to schedule some time with you if you'd like some individual time.
Yeah, I'd like to spend some time with you.
Let's do that, but I need to continue.
I got a question.
Sorry.
Are you going to assume
the resolution, is that still in place? Does that give the impression this is a sanctuary city?
What?
No, you can't call it that under Georgia law?
What we wish to do is dignify everybody's humanity. There's nothing in that resolution that creates...
the law. You took enough.
What about Laken Riley's humanity, Mr. Fucktard Mayor? This is the most outrageous thing I think I've seen yet in regards to the story. Absolutely ridiculous. And God bless this hero in this cowboy hat who is shouting this person down. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what we as citizens of this country who care should be called to do. Every single one of us should be shouting down these pieces of shit politicians who are responsible, who have the blood of these people like Laken Riley on their hands. I mean, he's ridiculous. He should resign, or if he won't resign, be forcefully removed from that office.
Don't uphold the law, not your feelings or nor your opinion.
Chief,
That's what you're upholding. No, sir. You're talking BS to us right now.
I need to answer one question at a time.
Right here, sir. Alex Kapp.
I'm going to continue my answer from a moment ago, and then I'll get it.
You called me a white supremacist in your resolution.
Well,
that was not nice to me, was it?
What we wish to do.
Oh my God.
This is America.
How embarrassing for him.
What we wish to do.
Okay.
What a loser.
Is to understand.
If he'll call upon me so I can ask some questions.
Is to understand that those families that are here came here under less than ideal circumstances. I've outlined my desire for better federal legislation that would standardize the immigration process. We've not been living in that environment. I mentioned I was a career educator. I've worked with a lot of students and their families in this community.
Oh, and we don't care.
And the practical reality is that those families tend to be blended amongst a variety of immigration statuses.
Oh, what the fuck are you talking about?
We want to create a stable environment for people in our communities. And when that community is disrupted by hate or vitriol, that's not a safe environment for their school children and their families to live in.
Called righteous indignation, sir.
It's called righteous indignation, sir. You go. You know what? Hero. That man is a hero. God bless him. This man right here is a subhuman piece of shit who wouldn't know his dick from his thumb, probably. I mean, he's just that much of a little cucked retard. He makes me so mad. So when I saw that, I was blown away. And here's him posting his damn feet in November of last year. Take a load off, friends. Love to you all from Athens. Wishing you peace and happiness today. I'm thankful for you. And he's all greased up with his damn feet out. Sir, you're giving pervert.
That term means different things to different people depending on the context of the discussion.
We know what it means.
Many of the elements. Many of the elements.
Liar.
We're here to listen.
Loser.
We're here to listen. There'll be time for questions.
You are guilty and got blood on your...
No one's asking questions, sir. They're just calling you a liar. They're calling you out your name. What are you going to do about it, bitch?
For this murder, sir.
Many of the aspects that are ascribed to sanctuary cities
Oh, God.
We know what sanctuary
are things that are disallowed by Georgia law. And we contribute a document every year to the Georgia Department of Audits indicating that we do not correspond to these definitions under state law.
Yes, you do.
And no policies have been adopted by the mayor and commission that have created sanctuary city status in Athens.
You need to resign.
One protocol that sometimes arises.
Resign now. You allowed this to happen, sir.
I love this for them. I honor you. You people are A-okay in my book. God bless you all for shouting him down. This is what we need to do, people.
One protocol.
This to happen, sir.
One protocol that sometimes arises is the approach that sheriff's offices and jails take to what are termed detainers. The sheriff's office approach has varied over the years, but this question, again, in the purview of the elected sheriff, honors detainers when issued by a federal judge or federal magistrate. In the main, I caution against conflating immigration and crime. The data demonstrates that the two are not connected.
Oh, what an absolute piece of shit garbage human. I mean, how does this person, this police officer right here, stand up there with this cucked out retard? I would have walked off the stage. Quickly. I would have quickly and briskly marched off that stage. How do you stand with someone like this? He's an absolute disgrace. And here's the hero of the day, who deserves a medal.
Who voted to make Athens, Clarke County a sanctuary city, sir? Who? What's their name? Please stop lying. You're insulting our intelligence, sir. You need to resign.
Resign now!
Resign!
Resign now!
You allowed this to happen, sir. You voted for this. All right.
Don't quiet him down.
Please stop lying.
Let this man cook. Let him cook. Absolutely fucking not. And so I will just go back to this song that I've played on my channel before. An absolute oldie but goodie. A hit, if you will. A compilation of Alex Jones's most based and correct takes. And it's just, I'm going to start it over here because it's so fitting, per what we just saw from the mayor of Athens, Georgia.
Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
And so the last thing I want to leave you guys with is that the Border Patrol Union president released a statement because it was announced that Biden was going to shuffle his way down to Brownsville and go in, I guess, a photo op down there with the Border Patrol agents and act like he's even capable of doing something. Nevertheless, that he actually will do something. And the Border Patrol Union president, Brandon Judd, who seems like an absolute Chad, wasn't having any of it. And so this was his statement, and then we'll get out of here. Unfortunately, a visit by President Biden 3 years into his term, and after repeatedly stating there is no crisis, is too little, too late. Whether stating it himself or through White House Press Secretary Karen Jean-Pierre, Biden has said he's done everything he can to secure the border. If that was the truth, and it wasn't, there would be no point in visiting the border now. But even if he were there to put, even if he were to put the proper policies in place at this late hour, he'd be doing it only to try to save his presidency. And self-serving actions when time is winding down should always give Americans pause. Common sense dictates that as a lame duck, he'd revert back to his open border policies if reelected. Biden is going to the border now solely to try and save himself. Border security should never be about politics. It should always be about the safety and security of this great nation and the American people. And I say to you, Brandon Judd, amen. So what do you guys think about all of this? Again, justice for Laken Riley. Rest in peace, the young woman. It's absolutely horrific what was done to her and what was allowed to go on. The blood is on the hands of all of these useless, feckless politicians who will not protect American citizens no matter how much it costs all of us. They don't care. They never will. But I want to know what you guys think because I care and I want to know your thoughts. So please let me know in the comments down below and like the video if you guys liked it, and follow, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more like this. And y'all try to stay safe out there, guys, because this is getting real and it's very tragic and very sad to see that nobody in leadership seems to care. Until next time, guys, I will see y'all later. Bye. This woman was in prison for 50 years, okay? The nerve of him to ask her, the last known person to be seen with his son, did you kill my son? The pretenses behind her attempting to clean any part of this crime scene. She had been accused of killing her husband by way of poisoning him.
Yeah, after that I get out, I walk home.
That confession was a joke. I mean, he could have said anything. He could have said anything, and there would have been no proof. Every time we see something like this, where it's like, there's no care or like regard, why would you cover for this man and allow him to leave the scene of the crime and act like he was never there?